It's me, my city, me, myself, and I. The thoughts that run my mind.
All right, all right, all right.
Slow
Thank you
it
so much for
down.
tuning in to another great episode of Kiss the Kids Goodnight podcast with your host is Ben and my lovely wife Valerie.
Hello, guys.
Hey guys, how you guys doing today? Val, I have some really important news. You know why?
No, what's your important?
I have some so much. I have a big important announcement. We have officially, and we can cut this out if you don't want it, but we officially have got your IUD taken out.
Oh, yeah, come on, please,
I'm just letting the listeners know that when you take your IUD out, that means that you're preparing for a baby.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we are. We're preparing for our next one. Our number 3.
Yes, our third baby, our third headache. No, I'm just kidding. No, we love them though.
They ain't all headaches.
Yeah,
They
just two of them.
they just growing pains, you know. Junior's 2. Koya's 11, about to be 12 this year. Junior's about to go on 3, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just one of them times in their lives.
The only thing that I'm kind of scared of is us producing twins, because it's like one baby is cool. Don't get me wrong, but two babies, oh man, we going full house.
Yeah, but I think we can handle it. You know, twins is any baby's a blessing, you know, so I'm excited because if I do get twins, I can literally get both of them out the way and be done.
Yeah, that is true. We are trying for four, so we'll see how it goes. But we are documenting every step from the IUD being taken out to when the baby finally comes out of you. So yeah, so it's gonna be a wild ride. So stay tuned. But also, you know, I also want to announce that I am actually doing this media full time. So we're actually going to be putting out a lot more content, coming to you. Definitely, like I was trying to struggle with like either doing skits or just putting out like all types of different content like podcasts and cooking videos and stuff. And I kind of figured we're not camera ready yet.
No, I think we're still a little bit camera shy, our family is, so we'll stick to these podcasts and my baking videos and things that we do naturally in our natural states instead of trying to force an acting type thing right now. I feel we'll get there eventually, but right now I think we're just trying to get this off the ground, focus on one project at a time, and then that eventually will come. So y'all stay tuned. Y'all will be seeing us on camera some more, but just for right now, we're mainly focusing on our podcast, and then my husband's going to be going to school. We're trying to get him into media school right now, so he can actually start really recording and getting behind a director's seat
Film
like
school.
he needs to be. Because this is, I feel, when I watch him watching movies and stuff, there's things that he calls out that he sees that nobody usually sees, or I don't usually at least see, you know, because I'm mostly with them. But and it's pretty exciting to see him, you know, get into that light.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep. So I'm starting the preliminaries to film school. So, you know, if you you're watching a movie and you stay to the end of the credits, you might see my name in one of those movies. Matter of fact, you will see my name in one of those movies.
Claim it, baby. Claim it.
You will see one of my. You're gonna see Benjamin Roberts Johnson. You're gonna put my middle name in, my whole government in there.
Yeah, make sure y'all know it's him.
Definitely. But today we actually have a really special episode with you guys. For you guys, we're actually talking about arguing with your partner.
Fight, y'all. We probably might have a fight by the end of this one.
Yo, we had a fight before this one.
Well, it wasn't really a fight. That wasn't a fight. That was
What do you call it? Disagreement?
Not even a disagreement. That just, yeah, I guess you could say it's a disagreement. You know, I didn't agree how you wanted to do things, and you didn't agree how I wanted to do things, you know, so.
Look, let me tell you real quick. When you go into business with your partner, especially your love interests and stuff like that, it gets very hard because you have to kind of distinguish between them being your partner in love, your partner in crime, and your partner in business. And so you guys might have two type of directions that you want to go. And I was telling her before, we can't let our business disagreements affect our life, right? Affect our life disagreements, because I kind of feel like all this will pass away, but me and you, we're gonna stay whole forever, which is the goal and everything like that. And I do believe that when it comes to you going into business with your partner, you got to have a level of respect that comes with it on not just your side but on both sides as well. And I think we're starting to kind of learn that a little bit more. I mean, mostly we're mostly like on one accord, but we might have our little spits and spats and everything like that. But we're talking about arguing with your partner. Now, let me tell you from the male side of how we feel. Like us men, some of us, we don't like to argue. So we just like to go watch our sports, chill. We see something that we might not like. We might be like, hey babe, I wasn't really tripping off that and stuff like that, or I'm not really feeling that and everything like that. And then you women just want to turn up on, well, we don't get like it, and I'm like, whoa.
And I can't stand it when they do that and try to mimic us and make it all high and squeaky and stuff, because they do a terrible job.
That's what y'all be sounding like sometimes. What do you mean?
If you say so.
Yeah, but it's funny because you don't want to fight with the partner, that your partner, the one that you love the most. But I feel like that's the person who you fight with the most, is the ones that love you the most and stuff like that. I'm not sure why. Why is that?
Why we're the ones that fight you? We fight the most.
Yeah, like how come the person that you love the most you fight with the most? Why is that?
It's because y'all see each other every day. You guys start thinking alike, or you guys don't think alike. So that gets in the way. Life gets in the way. Things, how you handle certain situations, get in the way. It's not. I don't think some couples that actually are together, for a long time or even a short period of time, it's hard to get along all the time. I mean, you get your brothers and sisters and stuff in a room, and you guys only go get along for so long. You guys have different opinions, different things.
Well, you just know how to push my button. I don't know whether you be doing it on purpose.
And I don't do it on purpose. It's not that I try to intentionally push your button. It's just I'm, at the time, sometimes we, as women, we just talk, and we just try to tell you our opinion as much as possible and get our point across. And sometimes, guys, y'all ain't listening to us,
What'd you say?
So, exactly. That's exactly my point. So, but, and it's very, it's hard. So, there's things that, time as women, we try to tell you and let you guys know. And sometimes you guys do not listen to what we're saying. And honestly, they say women are very complicated, but honestly, usually if you just listen to your wife, or you listen to your spouse, you listen to your girlfriend, or you guys just starting out, you'd be surprised on what you can open yourself up to if you actually just listen to each other. Actually lately, we really haven't been having any issues with fighting too much, or we might have been having a disagreement here and there, but it's not nowhere near how we were before we moved over here. And then too, and taking into account, it could be the atmosphere where we moved from. It was like kind of a toxic neighborhood, I feel like. It was very toxic neighborhood and stuff that I feel like, and it was really, it was taxing on us, the people that we had to be around, and you're kind of forced in a situation. So look at your situation where you're staying. Sometimes it can be difficult when you're staying in a not so good neighborhood. Everybody has their issues and stuff, and they're kind of, your walls are thin, so it can cause issues there as well.
Let me tell you something real quick. It's a little bit on my history of fighting and stuff like that. I've gone as far, and I'm gonna kind of tune up the story a little bit, but I went as far as actually getting arrested. Not with Val. I was in a previous relationship, and we were so loud, and it was toxic. I will say it was very toxic, and we were very loud when we fought. And honestly, I'm a Taurus, so Taurus, what I'm saying, we love strong, but we fighters and stuff like that. Period. I mean, like you push our buttons, you bring out the bull, and it got to a point because we were so loud. The cops were called the first time, and they came in. They were like, "Hey, is everything okay?" Stuff like that. We were fine. We were like, we're cool, and so we were just having an argument and stuff like that. But it was so bad that I had to get out of their relationship because luckily I had a friend there and stuff like that. That when the cops came, he was like, nah, he didn't do nothing. He didn't put her hands on her, nothing like that. I thank God for that friend that's being there because I don't know where I would have been, had I would have got arrested. Because I already been arrested once already for that type of stuff, and it was crazy because it wasn't even me. Like I sat there, I called the cops to get her out of the situation because we were arguing so much. And then she sits there and tells them that I sat there put my hands on her, and then as soon as the cuffs come on, she's like, "Oh no, he didn't do it," and it's kind of the situation where you don't want to have it go that far. I was arrested that night. I spent a night in jail. That was the only night in jail I ever spent, and I felt so stupid because I felt like it could have been a lot of stuff that we could have avoided, or at least just broken up instead of it going that far. With arguing. So I'm going to tell you right now, just from my experience, nothing, and I mean nothing, is worth spending a night in jail. If you guys got to go, one person just go sleep in the car for a minute, or one person go for a ride, another person stay in the house, just spend some time away from each other to calm down. Because take it from me, spending a night in jail, I felt so stupid. Because being a black man in America, all it takes is one time. They could have threw the book at me, but they didn't. They saw that I was a good kid. I've never been to jail and stuff like that, but at the same time, when it comes to arguing, there's a healthy argument, and then there's a non-toxic, not-so-healthy argument that you should never go to.
But you was in a toxic relationship, and that's one thing, you got to realize when you're in a toxic relationship, you got to let it go. You can't try to keep holding on and can't try to keep making excuses for that person because it's just going to keep going bad. And God has a way of pulling that person out of your life when it's not meant, and you got to follow that. You have to listen to that.
Yeah.
So, and then there's some stuff that we, of course, our fancy Google
time.
Yep. All couples fight. It's completely natural, and it comes with the territory of being in a relationship. Before you freak out and think your relationship is doomed because you had 2 fights in the last week, know this. It's normal to have arguments and disagreements with your partner. That was something said by Joseph Saloni. I guess he's a psychiatrist. But it is. I don't like fighting. I can't stand fighting. I don't like fighting with my spouse. I'm not a confrontational person. I feel like we should be able to talk and get things out. And I realized in my marriage that I find myself, fighting more. But it's not necessarily fighting. They say that when you guys are having these arguments, it means that you guys are trying to come to an agreement. You guys are trying to work things out. Now, when the person gets silent, generally it's usually a lot of ladies that usually do this. When we get silent, some men too as well. When you don't feel like arguing no more, when you've given up, when you just keep going and stuff, and they say whatever they're saying and you don't even try to fight back, that's when you know for sure your relationship is over. That's when you guys need to move on. If you guys haven't seek counseling already, try to seek counseling. And if you guys can't even go through counseling without fighting or coming to a mutual agreement, you should definitely go ahead and move on past the relationship. It was very hard being a single mom, but I had to make that choice. The guy that I was with, he was toxic. He did not want to come and spend time with his child like he needed to be. I constantly, when I did try to talk to him, he didn't want to talk. He shut down. So I tried to move on. And then when he saw that I was moving on and doing good and stuff, that's when he kind of wanted to start kind of creeping around. It was really rough. It was really hard. He was on drugs, just stuff that, and I didn't even know he was on drugs, so I had to find that out later. But so I had to leave. My daughter, it was just me and her at the time. She means more to me than anything. My kids, your kids always should come first. And if you're in a toxic relationship, if you know your relationship is not going nowhere and you just keep trying to stay and stuff, and in your heart you should be leaving, you need to go. It's all about your heart, not your mind.
Yeah.
If you feel in your heart that you need to be out of that relationship, go. Do not stay.
And then also, kind of for you guys that are in that type of relationship where it's starting to become abusive, where the argument is going too far and you guys are start putting your hands on each other and everything like that. There's a hotline that you can call if you feel like you're in an abusive relationship and you can't get out. I do have a number right here. It's 844-762-8483. Again, that's 844-762-8443. You can call in anonymously. It's very safe and it's anonymous. You can say anything that's going on, even if you're out and you see something that's going on that doesn't look right to you, it looks like it's a abusive relationship, please speak up. Don't be that person to just look at it, say, oh, they'll be fine. No, if you see something, you see a lady or a man being abused, please let the authorities know, because at the end of the day, you could have saved somebody's life just by doing that. But just kind of getting a little bit more on a lighter note, I'm here. I want to ask you a few questions. This is question time right here. I'm going to ask you a few questions. If you're okay with that, Val?
What if I wasn't?
Well, then we would have to stop the podcast and then we would have to fight.
I thought we're not fighting on this show.
That's what I said. We're going to pause the podcast.
I guess you can ask me some questions.
Okay. I was like, are we really stopping?
This is over now, guys.
Yeah.
We've given you a good 16 minutes. That's fine.
I know, right? We're going to go back to fighting. Anyways, okay. So, what is off limits when you are having a fight with your significant other?
Do not hit below the belt.
Okay.
Don't do it. Just because you know your partner's deepest, darkest secrets, you do not need to throw them at each other.
So it's like triggering.
Yeah, you can't do that, because all that's doing is digging a deeper and deeper grave for both of you guys, your relationship, I should say. Mm-hmm. Another thing that we learned with talking to our psychiatrist was
therapist.
No, it was a psychiatrist.
So we're crazy?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay.
So our relationship got crazy for a second. We will talk about that at another time.
Yes, you will. We'll get into that.
Yeah, but no. So we did have to talk to a psychiatrist. Our relationship was very, very rocky, and it got pretty bad to where we were, it was really contemplating whether to leave each other. Mm-hmm. And so. Don't hit below the belt just because she's talking
about physically and mentally.
Yes, but they said that I lost my train of thought. This wine is good.
What are you drinking on right now?
Some of that good Stella. If you want to pay us too.
Stella Rose. This is not
an ad. Black.
It's not an ad.
It's black, but give each other your space. If you guys are having that where it's getting that heated, especially because a lot of us do have kids, if it's getting that heated, you guys need to walk away. Even if you don't have kids, just tell your spouse, look, I need time to cool off. I don't want to sit there and keep going into this argument. I don't want to keep going into this. We keep going in circles, because sometimes y'all keep talking and talking and talking, and it's literally just a circle. You're just saying the words different. Take a break. Go walk. Go take a nap, go read, go to your mama's house. Don't talk about your relationship with nobody else, though. That's a big one, too. Yeah. Go for a walk, go out, go see some stuff, get away for a little bit.
Speaking on that, also with our psychiatrist, he said this is a good practice for you guys to use, that when you guys are arguing, don't bring other stuff up.
That's what it was. See, this is why I married him. This is why I married him. He's my soul twin.
Yes, definitely. Because he said that when you are arguing about one thing and then you bring up another thing and another thing and another thing, it's just going to be a constant argument, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse because it's kind of like you're both throwing mud at each other. Instead of just arguing about just one thing, you turn it into 5 other things, which could spark a nerve.
And it's never going to be ending for your conversation.
Never.
So if you're arguing, to try not to bring in any other topics that you guys have argued about, or the things that you have found that upset you.
Even new things. Try to
leave it alone at that time
until there's a good time after that
to bring it up. Yes. So if you're gonna argue, say you guys are arguing about, okay, he constantly leaving the toothpaste on the counter. He doesn't do that, but I'm just throwing an example out there. I'm just throwing a random example. So,
hey, clean it up.
But I'm just saying, you constantly picking up the toothpaste and you're telling him to put the toothpaste back in the holder if you have a cabinet or whatever. And you're constantly seeing that. Don't argue about because last week he didn't do the dishes at that time too. Talk to him about, or her, about that particular situation. Don't bring other things inside of that. Yeah. There's also another one. Don't have that all or nothing mentality. I actually did that this morning. He had a certain vision on how we wanted to go ahead and do our promo. I had a vision in how I wanted to do our promo. And so I told him, plain and simple, you just do it, I'll just agree to whatever you do, instead of just saying, okay, babe, this time my idea didn't work. We're going to go ahead and just go with your idea and we'll just table mine. Don't be like that. Because when you're like that, it's kind of like you give that, I don't care. And it's going to put you guys back in a constant argument and stuff. And then, you're thinking, oh, well, she or he doesn't care about me. It's just, I just got all the reign and choices to make, and it just is just not good. So give them that respect and think about what you're saying before you end up doing that, because like I said, you can really hurt a person with saying, okay, well, I'm gonna just put it all on you.
And then also to that point, there's a thing called a healthy compromise, right? So sometimes you're not always going to get what you want, and sometimes your partner's not always going to get what you want. But at the same time, you always feel like there's always a compromising point, right? For me, just kind of building upon the situation my wife had told you guys, I kind of felt like in that situation we could have found a healthy compromise. I feel like both of our ideas could have been incorporated, to basically come together. But because she had that type of mentality of, oh, just do what you want type of thing, I don't care, then it's like, okay, well then we can never be happy, because she's just saying do whatever you want, and I'm like, well, I'm trying to, but at the same time, I feel like there's a way we both can kind of get things out of it. And even with any situation, you're going with, even down to the parking space that you guys are going to the store. Hey, she wants you to park here. You see a closer one over here. Let's just say it's it's a little bit of a ways between them. Compromise. Okay, babe, I know you want to park over there and I want to park over there. Let's park right here in the middle so that either if we can get into the store real fast or whatever, or we can park on this side where there's less people and stuff like that. We can just pull out when we get back in the car, and just the same thing goes for any type of situation.
Or hey,
compromise.
Flip a little coin real quick. It shouldn't really be parking spaces. Usually people do like to park closer, but I know with me, because when I was pregnant with my daughter, it was just good to park a little bit further to have that little extra walk. So that's good to do as well. But you can flip a coin real quick. Whoever picks it, you park closer this time. And then the next person gets it the next time. Or you guys pick and choose, hey, I want to do this time. We'll do what your idea next time. Rock, paper, scissors, flip a coin. Things that you can kind of make yourself fun in making decisions.
Can you imagine us in the car? Take this.
Car's honking. Hold on. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. Try to establish that maybe. Make sure you're safe. Pull off to the side if you need to do that. But that's just a broad kind of scenario because who's really gonna argue over a parking space? But I mean, hey, it happens.
Yeah.
Things happen every day.
No, before you get to that, real quick, I have one more question for you. One more. Okay. So in an argument, that is right. What is the pettiest thing that you have ever done during an argument, or even after, or even before the argument? What's the pettiest thing that you ever done? It doesn't have to be with me. It could be with anybody.
The pettiest thing I think I have to do is I was so mad at him. I slept around with not one but a few of his friends. I ain't gonna even lie.
Wait, you still my friends?
Not you. We said not you.
Oh, okay.
God,
Hey, you gotta clarify.
First of all, and it was none of his friends.
You gotta clarify around here, man.
Me and you.
James will get fired on. Oh, sorry, I said his name. My bad, James. I love you, dog.
Lordy Jesus. And ew. James, you know I love you like a brother, so let's just leave it at that. That's gross.
Hey, look, I'm just saying you better clarify them friends.
Okay, let's be clear.
All
it
right.
was not my husband.
Okay.
It was somebody that I was with previous.
Okay.
And he made me just so mad. I was just, and I was going through things. And no, I'm not saying that's right. You don't do stuff like that because I could have handled it different, but I didn't. But I was, like I said, I was just so hurt at the time. And yeah, I did. I ended up, not all at once, but over some years and stuff, I did end up messing with, a few of his friends and stuff. I feel like, just to get
hurt. I hurt for the guy. Damn.
Well, he wasn't doing what he needed to do. And he was,
look, female. Look, ladies, let me tell you something. I understand he might not do you right. I understand he might not be that good in bed. But I'm telling you, you ever want to hurt a guy to the core? Please, find a different way. Don't do that.
Yeah, it was terrible. But he didn't really find out, honestly. I mean, he found out about one, but he really wasn't tripping because he knew how
bad. Ruin 2 lives.
Well, he knew how bad he messed up, so he really wasn't. He couldn't really say too much because he knew he wasn't really being there. And then it got to the point where he really wasn't there for, me and my daughter at the time. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do what I want, So I did what I wanted to. And I had my fun. And it wasn't necessarily... Dirty game. I mean, it wasn't just a jab at him. I was, like I said, I was hurting at the time, So it was a lot of pain that I was going through myself internally. So, and that's... I was the closest I was...
You better never do that to me. That's all I know.
That's never going to happen because, first of all... No offense, buddies of my husband, but I don't like y'all like that. So, it's strictly...
I do got some ugly friends, I ain't gonna lie.
It's not even about the ugliness. It's just...
I'm just kidding, y'all.
Because, you can have an ugly dude, but he had an awesome personality. But it's not necessarily about the ugliness. It's just, one, I have way too much respect for you for what we've done, what we've built, to go down that path. And then, not to mention, I don't like your friends like that. Like... I like them as like a homie. You're my brother. I'm not looking at your friends like that. The friends that I actually was looking at the time already had interest in him or interest in them when I was actually dating him or before I even dated him, so it was kind of like I kind of already knew them.
I got interest in some of your friends. Let's move on. Go ahead. Go ahead, see what you were saying.
Yeah, I bet. See, he's starting to start a fight on here. I told y'all.
Let's move on.
But don't have makeup sex if you're not feeling it. Don't sit there and try to put your heart into something like you guys just made up and stuff. And I know sometimes, I don't know how it is for guys, but usually guys kind of forget and don't care after a certain fight. But I know with women, we're still kind of bitter at the end of a fight. Sometimes it's not just that easy just to kind of just let that go.
Is the bomb sometimes.
It's not always. It is the bomb. Don't get me wrong. But make sure you're into it.
Oh, yeah,
make sure you're fully there. Don't sit there and do it just because, okay, yeah, we just made up and I feel like I got to give him something. No. Don't do it unless you're really fully feeling your heart is definitely in it.
Hey, but some people get off on that.
Yeah, but some people, if that's your thing,
get off on the angry
if that's your thing, then go ahead by all means. Yeah.
Oh, Daddy.
Yeah.
I hate you, Daddy.
Okay, I don't know about all that.
Okay,
that,
all right. I'm gonna go
no.
over.
So, like I said, I'm usually a little bit bitter. Generally, after a fight and stuff, it's not just that easy for me to just kind of just get warmed up to that. Mm-hmm. So wait some time until you guys are actually feeling each other again and you having that connection. Yep. Don't focus on necessarily what caused the fight. Sometimes fights don't reach a resolution. We've had arguments where we literally did not have a resolution to solve it. We both had to just table it and just say, I'm feeling this way, you're feeling this way, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you guys are anybody's wrong for it or anything. You guys just have your opinions. You guys are two human beings. You guys have your opinions, and that's okay. Usually in that situation, we just, just kind of table it. We just let it go. Like, look, I'm not feeling this. And I tell him, look, I don't agree. I don't like it. He don't agree. He don't like it. But we just have to move on because we don't come to a conclusion. What was it? It was one fight we had that I think that one particular fight went on for years. He had a thing where, oh, look at him. Terrible. Didn't even turn off his phone.
Sorry, my bad, y'all.
Look at this. Terrible.
My fault.
So, he had an issue where he did not like, or he liked to have music played, whatever music for the kids. And I was very particular on what kind of music they listen to because that's something that you're embedding in them. The lyrics, I don't care how good the beat is, those lyrics and stuff, they're still listening to. As they get older, they're going to start saying stuff, speaking words and stuff, and that's what they're listening to. And I, had to be like, look, babe, that's not how...
Wait, before you go on, real quick, let me tell you something, though, guys. That music be slapping. I know it's like gunshots every other word and stuff, but that music be slapping. But I did learn that I can't always play that, that kaboom, chow, ka bam, every time my kids are in the car. But at the same time, we finally got to a resolution where, our daughter's a little bit older. She can listen to a little bit. But when our son's in the car, try to tone it down, try to play a little bit of a nice Bruno Mars. Or Chance the Rapper.
And so we finally...
I love that shit.
Anyways, so it came to where we were, like I said, arguing for, a couple of years because before even Junior was born, we were having a conversation about it. And I'm like, look, you can't just be playing everything. I didn't even play everything around my daughter like that. I made sure, I'm saying my daughter at the time because, he was just, my husband was just coming, into our lives. And I didn't even play music like that around her. I made sure I toned it down and things because I wanted her to focus on the right things. I didn't want her hearing about slapping a hoe, getting money, and you got to bitch slap these people and rob this and kill this. And hold on. I got many hoes in different area codes. No, I don't care how much it's Snoop Dogg. You watch what you say.
You're showing your age.
Yes, I don't care.
She said hoes in area codes.
Yes, I should let you know.
Showing your age.
And I don't care. You can see it. I'm about to be a proud 35 and enjoying it.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyways, but what I'm saying is we had a problem with that for years because he believed he's a younger parent, so he don't care. He was like, I don't care what I play and stuff like that. And I'm trying to tell him, look, you can't play that because that type of stuff influences them. It gets in their brain. It paves their way for how they are because music, it puts you in a certain type of mood. And I didn't want a super turned up baby. I did it, so finally
baby is super turned up though.
But that's for other reasons. That was because I was drinking some iced coffee from Jack in the Box.
Ooh.
That stuff was good though. I ain't gonna. I had a craving for it. I don't know what it was, so I tried to cut it down.
On this next one, all you gonna be drinking is water and refreshment.
Yes, that's it. So, but I mean, he's not a bad kid. He's not like all over the place, but he's still kind of a little bit turned up. But he's not like we can go tell Junior to sit down and he'll sit down and relax. But what I was trying to say is we did not necessarily come to agreement. It took a long time for us to finally sit there and come to that mutual thing. I toned down a little bit more on what he can listen to. Like I turned a few of my rules down a little bit, and he did as well. You know, he turned some of his, like, okay, I can't listen to this. I can listen to this, though. You know, so sometimes it takes a while to come to a mutual agreement, and that's just fine, because you guys got to find out what works for you. When we got married, we barely knew each other. Yep. We was married, we were dating for 6-7 months, and we got married. Didn't know nothing really about each other. You can't find everything about that person within that time frame, but you know you love each other. Yep. You know you have something there, you want to make it work, and we tried to do our best. So we had a lot of work to get to the point that we are right now.
Yeah, and I feel the moral of that story, I feel like it's all about compromise. You know, understanding that you always can find a compromising position throughout, you know, your partner and throughout your lives together. And I feel like, you know, not just with marriage, but with, you know, being a boyfriend, being a girlfriend and stuff like that. I know that you guys aren't, you know, married, but at the same time, though, you're courting each other. And as much as you girlfriends and boyfriends don't want to hear it, you guys are girlfriend and boyfriend to get to that married stage. And if you find out that person isn't for you, you break up with them. But that's what being a girlfriend and a boyfriend is for, is to find out if this person is your match, if this person is your companion. Now, I know a lot of people don't believe in marriage, which is fine. You know, it's totally fine to have a boyfriend and girlfriend for the rest of your life. I would never be the person that says, oh, you got to get married. But at the same time, marriage is a beautiful thing. And while you guys are courting each other, you have to fill each other out. You have to see if that person's temperament can be matched. And if it can be matched, that is, you know, see how you can kind of work around it. And also with the female side, guys, don't always just tune your female out. Don't always tune your girl out, because there's going to come a time where you're going to have to need that. You're going to need her undivided attention. And if you keep on disrespecting her and you know, she's trying to tell you something and you just keep on being confrontation, or
you turn you're not listening to her, plain and simple.
Yeah, she's gonna turn into, you know, what Val did. Some girl just say, hey, you know what? Since you ain't giving me the proper attention, I'm gonna find it.
Yep, and that's exactly some of us think. You know, you're not giving me that love and affection. You know, and in this case, it wasn't just me. You know, I had a child and stuff like that. So you're not giving us the attention and love that we need. I gotta go. I'm not gonna stay in a relationship where I'm not being loved, where I feel unhappy, and that's, you know, yeah, like I said, I should have took a little bit different avenues, but it happened, you know, and honestly, I don't regret it, because it was the experience, what I had went through, everything, you know, it happened, you know, and it's a reason for it. So I feel I went through a lot of the struggle that I went through to explain to other people, don't do that. You don't need to go down that road.
Nope.
You know,
just break up with them.
Just break up.
Don't.
If you're really feeling a certain type of way, don't prolong it. Mm-hmm. Let them know if they're not willing to work things out and stuff. Maybe voice your opinion one more time, and that's it. If they're not trying to
inkling in your brain to be unfaithful, you need to distance yourself away from that person.
Or tell them that you're feeling this way. Hey, look, I'm having an issue. I'm starting to feel distant from you. I'm feeling like I want to go ahead and be with somebody else. Be honest. Don't sit there and hide those feelings, because when you hide them, that's when you're feeling devious. That's when you're in a relationship and you're trying to have another relationship in a relationship. It don't work. Trust me, it don't. Mm-hmm. I was over here sneaking outside the house, like certain type of hours, trying to make up for certain time. It was a mess. I mean, like I said, he didn't find out. And even honestly, still to this day, if he found out, I really, really don't care, because I really was at that point in that relationship where I didn't care. Yeah. But it's not okay to do that.
And men,
you know?
and men, we go through there too. Like, I'm not gonna lie. You know, when I was in that toxic relationship, I stepped out of that toxic relationship because of how toxic it was. It seems like we were fighting every other day, and I just wanted a day of peace. I wanted a day where I could sit here and just have a conversation without it turning into an argument. And I stepped out on that relationship because of it, and because it didn't seem like it was gonna, you know, get any better. But at the same time, that's the one thing I do regret. And I do feel like instead of stepping out on that relationship, I should have just ended it and say, you know what? We can't do this anymore. I'm going to find somebody who is a better match for me. Yeah. And as a man, that's totally fine. You don't need to be this gigolo. If you want to be a gigolo player, cool. But don't be married. Don't have a girlfriend. Don't be trying to court somebody and be a gigolo. No, be a gigolo. You know, do what you got to do and stuff like that. But don't be yoked to a female that's a woman that's just trying to love you, because then you're gonna turn her bitter, and the next guy that she's gonna be, she's gonna be very standoffish for the next guy. Don't make it hard on the next guy. Just let it go. Say, hey, look, hey boo, I love you, but we're just not working out. We're fighting too much, or you're not showing me that type of affection, and let it go.
Did you say gigolo?
Yeah, I said gigolo.
We showing your age now.
I'm a gigolo. Just let you know.
But they did say that it's hard to leave a toxic relationship, usually because it has to do with your self-esteem, and the energy that is required to keep up that unhealthy relationship. You feel like that's your everything. You feel like that's all that you have. So trying to keep that together, you want to, but it's better to not have that relationship at all. It's better to sit there and just leave, as we were saying. Don't sit there and stick around in a relationship. They say that it is healthy to fight 7 times a day.
Wait, what?
7 times per day.
7 times a day?
That is way too much for me. I am not trying to argue with you 7 times.
7 times a day?
A day. Not a week.
Y'all gonna end up choking each other. No.
That's what I'm saying. So
it's healthy for that?
Yeah. They said how common it is in relationships. It is to fight 7 times per day.
Wow. Wait, okay. So that means when we wake up, no, that means before we wake up, we fighting for the covers. That's 1. When we wake up, we fighting for the bathroom time. That's 2. When we fight because I left the toilet seat up,
which he never does, thank God.
Yeah, my mom trained me right. Shout out, mama. The 4th time would be what would be the 4th argument of the day?
I don't know. Like, what? You left the toilet paper roll? You didn't change the toilet paper? You ate all my cereal?
You ate all your cereal. You know what? It's even giving me anxiety even thinking about 7 arguments.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
You can have a day. Like
how do you have 7 arguments
just split up.
in a day? That is ridiculous. I mean, they say the average couple. That I can't argue. Like I feel like.
Where'd you get that from? Let me see.
It was stated by...
cite your sources, girl. Cite your sources.
Yes, let me say Dr. Carla Manley, a clinical psychologist.
Carla Manley. And
a relationship expert. And that she's the author of Joy from Fear.
Her name is Carla Manley.
I'm sorry.
Out of here, Carla Manley. You too, Manley.
I'm not trying to argue. I'm not trying to fight. I don't even like fighting. And our one fight, I feel like it lasts a long time because we both trying to argue our point. Mm-hmm. That's enough for me. And that's enough for me for a while. I don't need to argue with you. We live together 7 days a week. We arguing 7 times a day. That's what, 49 arguments? No. Life is too darn short to be arguing. And then imagine if they doing that every day for weeks on end. Man. No, I'm good. So
that's too much stress on me, Miss Manley.
Right? I'm sorry. I don't. I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong on that. I completely. You're probably right. But
she gotta mean like a little smart.
But then again, we say it all the time. We ain't no average couple.
Yeah,
so we are definitely outside of the box.
And real quick, also men, ladies, communication. Mm-hmm. Communication is a key when fighting, because the thing about it is a lot of fights can be avoided if you just communicate. Point, period. Let me tell you something. About a week or 2 back, I'm sitting here, I have to go to a meeting, and I'm getting ready for this meeting. My wife, she has a hurt hand right now, so she can't change our son. So she sends our daughter in there, and the daughter says, "Hey, Dad, can you change Junior? I say, baby, I'm getting ready for this meeting. Can you change her? Can you change him? She said, okay, Dad, close the door. About no more than about a minute or two pass, Val bursts in the door talking about, really, Ben? Really? Really, Ben? And I'm looking at her like, what do you mean, really? I
First of all, I did not sound like that.
Yes,
okay,
you did.
let's.
Really,
I
really,
did not
man,
sound like
really.
that.
Yes, you did. Anyways,
I said really, but I wasn't all that extra Byron.
Yeah,
that's
no,
what you sound like.
That's what you sound like in my head. Anyways,
see, you see how they be doing this?
But the thing about it is, come to find out, I mean, we had a whole argument. I'm like, yo, like, I'm trying to get ready. Can't one of you guys do it? I got on my daughter, I got on her, and we had this big drawn out argument. Come to find out, my daughter didn't even tell my wife that I told her, my daughter, to do it. So now we're sitting there arguing. She's looking at me like, why can't you just do this? You're just, I have a hurt hand. I'm looking at her like, yeah, I understand you got a hurt hand, but I got to get ready for this. I got to get ready for this meeting. Can we have her do it? And all that took was a simple conversation where she comes in there and says, hey, Ben, I asked you to do it. Why couldn't you do it? Hey, baby, I'm getting ready. I can't change him right now. I'm trying to get ready for this meeting. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I asked Koya if she just could do it this one time because of so. Oh, okay. Koya, get in here.
No. I'm going to tell you. He could have sit there. He had other agendas. He had to go run errands and everything before he went to church, which he failed to let us know that he was going to do. So in that communication, he could have been like, hey, babe, I didn't get gas last night. I got to go run and get gas before I go to church. He could have done that. And the fact that he couldn't done that, and then not to mention how he reacted when I did come in there, that just blew up and stuff. And I'm looking at him like, seriously, like, that I'm hurt and stuff. So you can't, it don't take long to change, Junior. It really don't.
But I was going to be late. And I should have communicated to her that if I changed him right now, I was going to be late for this meeting because I had other errands that I had to run.
And see, that's what we said. Communication. We could have solved everything if I didn't come in there and have a certain reaction, which set him off to have a certain reaction, and our, even our daughter, she didn't sit there and communicate with us and let me know that, hey, Dad said for me to do it so that way you could sit there and you didn't have to use your hand. Communication. All the way around and stuff. Things can be usually avoided if you guys open up and talk to each other.
Yes, communication is key. I mean, and it's crazy when it comes to, for the people that can talk to each other 100 times a minute about anything, all it takes is one little inkling of bad communication could change your whole day. Our day went from happy-go-lucky to dark clouds and rain all in most of the day and fighting because of that one little communication. And a lot of fights that you're having with your partner can be avoided is either A, you pick your battles, pick and choose your battles. That's something that we're learning now. B, having communication. And then, like you said, C, knowing when to just, okay, this ain't working, let's go apart.
Yep, and sometimes it is good, us women and stuff, sometimes we go from 0 to 60. It's very easy, we're usually hormonal, and men too, yeah, you guys do too as well. But if you sometimes take that pause and start thinking, okay, should I really sit there? Do I really need to have this argument right now? Do we really need to be in this fight again for like the 6th time today? And it's only 12 o'clock?
Yep.
No, you guys need to take a pause.
Well, according to Miss Manley, you ought to be at 7.
Okay. For real.
You
So it is. If you take some time and actually think about what you're trying to say to your spouse, it does end up working out. It does. You'll notice that you have more of a peace and calmness. And that's how we haven't had anything really bad for the last couple weeks because we've been a lot calmer with each other.
Yep. We're doing those 3 steps. We're picking and choosing our battles. We're communicating, and we're knowing when to stop arguing and just go at it another time.
And sometimes I find myself getting an attitude and upset. I still do have my issues because I was a little spoiled little brat when I was growing up, and I'm still a little spoiled little brat now. I have to have it my way, and now I'm learning I can't always have it in my way. And I'm 35, so I have to sit there and work with my husband, especially being in a marriage, and I'm learning so much. We've been together 4 years married.
Yep.
4 years married, and then we'll so our 5th marriage is next year.
No. Our 4th year would be
next year, right?
Next year. That
yeah, so it'll be 4 years we've been together, and then but we're getting to learn each other. We literally kind of it was more or less kind of one of them. What was those arranged marriages, but wasn't arranged, we just literally threw each other at each other and said, let's make this work. And we've been trying to get through these hoops as much as we possibly can. Yeah. That's why we believe in going to therapy and talking to somebody about our issues.
We pray together.
We started doing that every morning and stuff for about a month or 2 months now.
Yeah.
About roughly.
Pray for your marriage. Ask God to bless your marriage. I'm telling you. I get it. Like, you're rolling your eyes right now and saying, "Oh, what can God do in marriage?" I'm telling you, I see it firsthand. Bring God into your marriage. I'm telling you, you will see dramatic changes.
Try this. We started doing it before we get out of the bed. We try not to pick up our phones. Mm-hmm. We try to go ahead and leave our phones where they're at. We get down, I know your breath stinking and stuff, throw a little mouthwash in your mouth real quick, or, go to the bathroom and stuff. But we try to get on our knees and pray for each other, pray for our marriage, pray for others, pray for our situation, everything before we get off or leave our bed space. And it works. Try it for even just a week, a week to a month. Try it out and see how things change in your relationship. You'll notice that you'll have more patience with each other. If you do have an argument, it don't last for too long, because you guys are so focused on getting back to that oneness. Now, I did want to touch back up before we do get out of here. Mm-hmm. Some of you women and some of you men are going through abusive relationships. You do not have to stay. You don't need to be in a relationship where you're being abused, mentally, physically, or even verbally. I was in a few verbal relationships where I was verbally abused. I had to go because it put your self-esteem down so much where you feel just so low. Another situation I had where this guy decided to start pushing me and putting his hands on me. I left. I'll be darned if I'm going to be in a relationship where you're going to be beating on me, hitting on me. No, it wasn't him because we're still together. I said I left.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Silly.
Sorry. See, listening. See?
Done. See, communication. Yeah. Not listening. But I did. I left. I couldn't do it. I refused to be in a relationship where I'm getting abused and hurt. Nobody deserves that. I don't care how you were raised, who raised you, who you're around. You do not deserve that. You deserve to have a great life, a winning life.
Queens, you don't deserve it.
For your kids and for yourself. If you're not happy and you're getting abused, your kids are watching that and they're getting abused. They're going to grow up to sit there and think that it's okay. And it's not. Again, my husband did sit there and say something about a phone number. It's 844-762-8483. If you don't necessarily take that number, you can Google and stuff. They got all sorts of domestic violence places where you're at. Leave. There's so many people that end up doing really well for themselves after they leave those relationships. Nobody deserves to be hit on. Nobody deserves to be abused. What did they tell us in kindergarten? Keep your hands and feet and objects to yourself. That was like one of the number one rules we had.
Yeah.
But it still applies to this day when you get older. All those rules was literally preparing us for when we got into the real world. You don't put your hands on nobody. And if somebody's putting their hands on you, please call somebody. Get out of there. If you don't have a family member or a friend or anybody you can go to, there's shelters. There's programs where you can get the help that you need. Yep. There's places now that will put you up for a while. You have your own place, but you have to go and seek that help.
Sure.
We have 211 has a lot of information. I think that's pretty much countrywide. 211, because I remember I still could call it in San Diego, and you can get some information.
Yeah.
And if you can't, like I said, Google. If you don't have a friend, talk to a church that's down your street and say, hey, this is what's happening to me. I know it's very hard. We can't trust a lot of people nowadays, but there are still some trustworthy people out there that do want to help you.
Yeah.
So please go out there and seek some help. Nobody should be in an abusive relationship.
Right on. Yes, thank you so much for that, wife. I really appreciate that one right there. Yeah, please seek help if you need it. But as always, we thank you guys for tuning in. This has been another beautiful episode of Kiss the Kids Goodnight podcast.
Another special one?
I said beautiful. I changed it up this time.
No, last time in the beginning you said it was special. You always say it is special. All our podcasts is special.
Oh yeah. We love all the podcasts, but this is a great podcast. Hopefully, you guys got a lot of good information from us. Again, this is another episode of Kiss the Kids Goodnight podcast, with your host is Ben and my lovely wife Valerie.
Good night, guys.
All right, thank you guys so much. And then also one more thing, I just want to get done just a brief announcement real quick. I am starting my media business. Full force. So if you are, if you know any connections with any cameras, or if you know anybody that has really, really good camera skills, any person that good mixing skills, audio skills, please let me know. I definitely want to collab with them, and I am going to start to learn a lot of bit about cinematography when I'm going to school, and also photography as well. So I definitely want to, if you have any weddings or have any bar mitzvahs or any type of birthdays that you want to get a little bit of shooting for,
or you just want to shoot your baby,
yeah,
crawling around and stuff. You want more of a professional eye.
More professional things. Please let me know. I'm gonna have my phone number at the end of this podcast, or in the beginning of the podcast as well, and my email as well. Please hit me up. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. We love you guys. And night night.
Good night.
Hey, Uncle did that.
That's terrible.